Hello, everyone. This is Deb with the UAP Medical Coalition. Today, Maximo is here to talk to us about OVNIs, also known as UAPs, in Argentina. Maximo, can you please tell people who you are?
Okay, thanks, Deb, for having me today. My name is Maximo Veron. Um, I'm an independent filmmaker, and I have been related the last 5 years with the UAP world. All my life, I'm being interested, but the last 5 years, I have been running a film fest about UAPs and paranormal phenomena. That's helped me to know a lot of people and a lot of researchers from Latin America and from all over the world.
So, specifically, you are in Argentina. Could you tell us what the UAP topic is like in Argentina?
Um, how we call UAPs here?
More like how do people respond to the topic?
Oh,
Like, how do
okay,
people talk about it?
okay. I think that people uh, is happening the same thing. A lot of countries after that New York Times and those videos that were released in, if I am not wrong, in 2017. People is taking it seriously, and we are more open to talk about sightings.
Now, is Argentina experiencing, do you think, a lot of sightings, or like what's the history with Argentina and the UFO, also known as UAP or OVNI?
Oh yeah, we have um, a long history. The other day I was reading the first article, if I am not wrong, was reading in 47 actually about the first sighting in one city here in Argentina called La Plata. There were some people on a park uh, just hanging around, and they saw a metallic shaped object on the sky. So yeah, that was the first one. And after that, we have yeah, crazy sightings and experience uh, like the third kind of sighting and contact.
And how do people basically respond to witnesses? Do they seem to believe them, or do they have stigma in Argentina also?
Yeah, there is part of the society that yeah, they are not trustful on this kind of information. At least there are proof that sometimes it's so difficult to take in a camera or actually in phones. If you have a sighting, probably you are not going to um, record something pretty clear. So yeah, but uh, here in Argentina there is especially one commission. There is called Sephora. They work with declassified articles and cases from the army, and they actually work with people who have sightings. And there is a lot of people working in all the province from Argentina trying to get all the proof and collect data to take seriously uh, these opportunities when people have sightings. Yeah, a lot of people have a kind of trauma after that. So there are people here who take it very seriously.
When people do have trauma, are there mental health professionals that are willing to be open and help them?
Actually, I don't think so. There is not much help. I think that people is not pretty open to talk about this with a health professional, maybe a psychologist, perhaps, that like a private session. But yeah, we don't have any kind of entity that works with people on this kind of cases.
So that there's not quite the same support system in Argentina for people who are witnesses or have contact.
No, I don't know. I really don't know anyone, so probably there is no. No.
Do they ever reach out internationally to groups like MUFON for support?
Yeah. They do. I know some cases that they were known worldwide. They got some help from another kind of uh, commissions or like a MUFON. Yeah.
Okay, so from what I can understand, you have a research entity that is helping with the military cases in Argentina. Is the government involved at all?
No, it is a civilian. They have pushed to the government to declassify some cases that have been classified until they did it.
So the government's keeping those to themselves and not transparent and sharing with the people?
Yeah, it is not often for them to be open about this. Not at
Okay.
all.
Do they consider it like a military classification?
Uh, I think so. Yeah. Uh, I think that works the same way that like used to to be in the U.S.
Okay. What about politicians? There's no politicians interested at all?
No, I think that, like I said, after the last hearings in the Congress of the U.S. and Mexico, they are starting to get in touch with some researchers here in Argentina.
Okay, so there's a little bit of engagement. That's something.
Yeah, I think that we're starting starting
Okay.
right now.
Okay, great. Um, so you said that people may speak to their psychologist about the experience that they had. How do you think um, people respond in a psychology setting in Argentina, or do you have an idea of how those people might be treated if they do speak to somebody?
Not actually someone who has that experience, but I can talk about myself because I have been witnesses from some UFO sightings, and I'm pretty open to talk about them. And I did it with my own psychologist. It is not why I went to this to psychotherapy. It's like I am pretty usually to do psychotherapy. After the last sighting, I talked with him, and he's pretty open. And he asked me about what it meant to me, uh, if I have some kind of uh, reaction after that. Um, but yeah, that's I think that how probably is working with other people. Um, like I said, for me right now here we don't have any kind of program, so it's pretty like private for each individual to talk about this, unless they do like this kind of commission, but uh, they make just a report about their sightings.
Okay, so they tell the researchers, but they don't have any follow-up or necessarily support.
I no, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. And are there no support groups like other experiencers wanting to talk to each other, other witnesses wanting to talk to each other, or do they do that within the research group?
No, they do. We have in a lot of province here in Argentina, uh, Sephora, this commission that I told you, they study classified or declassify now cases, UAP cases. Um, they have like in different. We have province nor states. Um, and they are like they call it coffees, but there are groups of people that they are interested, and some people who have uh, be witnesses from some sightings, and they're open to talk to each other, and they have companion on that.
Okay, so there's some peer support. Like so
Yeah.
that's good. Great. Okay. So what is like the healthcare system like in Argentina? I find it really interesting to see the differences in the different countries with healthcare in general.
We have a public system of healthcare here in Argentina. Although a lot of people that has they are employed from some kind of a business, they pay their own private medical healthcare. Yeah,
Okay, so you have both the public, we have something similar like medical assistance and private that's through work.
yeah.
I know in some countries it can be a little difficult to get healthcare the way that you want it to be. Do you feel like that's the case in Argentina, or is it better than that?
No, 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 it's actually that the public system is pretty low quality. Uh, that's that's sad, but yeah, it's like everyone had a chance to be uh, attendant. I don't know if it's the word, but to be successful from. If you have an emergency, the public system is going to take care of you. But probably if you need something more complex, you have to wait months to take an appointment. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. On the other side, the private system, yeah, probably is 10 times better than the public.
Are there a lot of people um in the medical field, would you say? Like, do you have an idea of like how the medical field is doing in general in Argentina?
I didn't understand that question. Sorry.
So in Australia, I was told that they are having trouble getting enough doctors right now. So I was just wondering how Argentina was doing with having an adequate number of staff, a number of doctors to deal with the
Okay.
public system.
No, we're good, but the problem right now it is that we have a big economical crisis here in Argentina. So a lot of people that work for the government in the public system, they are going to the private system because they get a better payment. So yeah, that's the problem with the public system right now.
Okay, so the doctors are converting over is what I'm
Mhm.
hearing. So okay, because for the money. Got it.
Yeah.
Um, so what about if someone has a physical experience with a UAP, like if they were, for instance, to experience some sort of radiation burn, it might take months for them to see a doctor. Is that correct?
No, if it is an emergency, they are going to be attended right away. Yeah.
Okay.
But just that after their life is not in danger, probably yeah. If they have to make like some kind of scan or something like that, their appointment is going to take month in the public system. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know anyone who has had a physical experience with a UAP in Argentina, like something where they got sick or had something change in their body because of their experience?
Personally, no. I know some cases that they do, and we are trying to get some information about a recent case that happened here. I think it was the September of 5th this year. Supposedly, in one army base in a city called Bahia Blanca, um, they had an experience and were shooting with some kind of UFO, and supposedly some soldiers were hit by some kind of light or laser, and they were injured about that. But it's pretty classified right now that case.
Were some of the soldiers the reason you know about it? Or was it
No, not at all.
no? Okay, I was just wondering if it's classified. I'm wondering how you found out. But you don't have to tell me. It's fine.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I'm not the expert. I work with them, and they have insiders working or telling them some kind of information.
Okay, so you said that you had your own personal experience or experiences, and I was just wondering if you wanted to talk a little bit about how that impacted you.
Sure. The first one, I was like 8 years old, and my grandparent used to live in a zone like campsite, or I don't know how to call it. Was like a ranch, you know. It was summertime. We were playing at night with some of my cousins, and we saw a circular UFO. Yeah, that's stuck into our head since that time. So um, I was pretty young, so all my life I be sure about UFOs are real. I don't know what they are actually for 100%. Of course, there are theory. We all know, but um, yeah, that's for me was like yeah.
Were you
There is
were you
someone.
I
Sorry,
was
go
I
ahead.
was gonna ask if you were scared or excited about it because you're kind of like seemed like you were in awe, but like you were excited. But I want you to say how did you feel when you saw that?
Uh, I think we were scared because was something out of what we know, or you know, it wasn't something we were expecting, like a car crash or something like that. It was like there, and we didn't know if it was something friendly or not. So yeah, we just saw that for some seconds because it was still on the air, still in the air. So uh, we just saw that and we ran away because we didn't know what it was about. You know, we tried to tell our parents and they didn't believe it. So um, that was the story about that sighting.
I'm guessing it was a long time before you had someone to talk to about it then. From what
Yeah,
you
actually, we with our cousin never discussed that until I started working with this. I reached one of them, and she said, "Yeah, actually, for some years I thought that I had dreamed that."
okay. Well, I'm glad that other people witnessed it with you too, because it's always helpful to get that validation from other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah,
uh,
I
Um,
have the experience to have other sighting. I had one that I was alone in my backyard. Yeah, it was pretty bad to not have someone who saw it with me. You know.
I bet. And it's
Yeah.
and like I said, you said in Argentina, unless you connect to the research teams, then you don't really have anyone to talk to about it unless you talk privately to your
Mhm.
psychologist. And you were lucky
Yeah,
because yours was really open to talking about it.
yeah, that's true. Probably no one is going to go to the public system and said I need help because I had an experience with UFO. I'm feeling sick, or I have a kind of post trauma disorder or something like that. You know.
Well, I hope that anyone in Argentina who's listening to this will still go see their doctor for their symptoms, even if they don't want to mention the UFO, which is, hopefully something that will change over time, that people can be more open about that. What would you suggest to people in the medical system in Argentina to make things better for people who witnessed one like you did?
Uh, I think that they have to uh, embrace the reality. Now we know from our governments that UFOs are real. We don't know where they came from, but it is a international subject right now and will be forever, of course. But uh, we are dealing with something real. It is not made up by anyone. So yeah, if someone feel bad or sick or whatever, they should treat them as was something another illness, like a regular illnesses. So um, yeah, I think that they have, or everyone has to be more open. When someone is feeling sick or hurt, they deserve help. Doesn't matter what happened to them, you know.
Absolutely. So it seems like you took your experiences and it motivated you to do work with film. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, actually, um, I never had experience until now. We are working in a production that pretty sorry because I can't talk too much because it's in production right now. Uh, but what I did, I used to work with some film festival not related to UFOs at that time, and I thought I never saw a film fest. Uh, he was dedicated for this, and that was my idea to make it happen. And we connect people who is researchers, film productions, companies, filmmakers, and we want to talk about what is sci-fi in movies. Sometimes it's about documentaries and the real people who make research about this. So it's the fiction and reality together in this kind of film fest that we do.
What are you hoping the impact of those films will be for Argentina, for instance?
Um I think that actually our audience, who are just people interested about knowing, when they see particularly documentaries, and we are getting pretty interesting productions and how that affect people, the real people who is on those documentaries. Um, I think that people feel connected with them. So I think that what we are doing probably is getting people feel connected and help with that.
Okay, so you're helping people relate. in your films and your festivals. Oh, that's wonderful. I wanted to ask how the media in Argentina has, before your film festival, been treating the topic.
Um, I think that mm, we didn't make like a huge change on media. Uh, they were treating the same way until what happened probably after the those videos, Go Fast, the TikTok, and after that they started to treating more seriously. There were like tabloids before about UAPs, you know. Um, and yeah, actually, what happened all uh, for along this year, we started with those UFOs taking down those UFO. I think that was on February, I think. Uh, and after that, the hearings and in Mexico, I have one of my friends that she was talking on the Mexican hearing. So yeah, actually, after the hearing in the Congress of the U.S., everyone called her. I have some interviews about that, and people were like, "Oh my God, this is real." At least the the professionals on the media.
So they were a little shocked. They feel like maybe they dropped the ball along the way, maybe?
Yeah, actually, it was crazy how they changed their behavior talking about this. You know, they usually all the time you are talking to a media who talks about news. You know, regular news. They're always putting the X File music behind you, and you know you feel like, oh, you know, they are not taking this seriously. But after that, they were like, okay, yeah, tell us what you know about this.
Well, I'm very glad that the media is changing. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask if you see any major differences in the cases that are happening in Argentina that are noteworthy, as opposed to any other countries. For instance, we know Brazil seems to have a lot more negative cases of attacks, and there are a little bit less cases that involve people being taken in France, for instance. Just less, not an absence of. So do you see any differences in Argentina related to cases?
Yeah, we have actually. There is a documentary. I really don't know how it's called in English, but it was made by or produced by Jack Belez, and it's the case of a rancher. You know, there is people. That's people who lives and work for farming, and they are not pretty connected with society, and that's happened like 30 years ago. Um, one little child, he was, I think, like 10 or 12, between that age, and he has the experience to get a sighting and interact with some beings, supposedly. And he was traumatized about that experience for all his life. And with help with Jack and other researchers, he could understand because he hadn't uh, have any kind of information by that time. He didn't know what UFO were. He never saw a film about UFOs or sci-fi, you know. Um, so that's one of the cases that is pretty interested about that. I'm working now on making an article for the Roswell Daily Record about an experience about from a guy who used to work in a train station, he it was in the middle of nowhere. I think it was a military train station, um, and he had experience to see a UFO, and he was like, yeah, having radiation on his body, and that was the time we had a dictatorship here. So after he made a call to the military people, they went to that place. They could see those UFO with their own eyes. So that's a big one we
Yeah, I'm
have.
curious about how a dictatorship would have handled someone's UFO experience. I'm curious. I'm wondering. That's the psychology of that. I'd like to know. I did see that documentary that you mentioned, and from what I saw, the case was very much like all the cases in other countries. And one thing I noted also in just doing this examination of things internationally is sometimes the encounters are different, like different beings are involved. In that case, the one you mentioned with the young boy at the ranch, I think it was very much the same as other countries. But do you ever hear about something that really like stands out as being different from another country?
Um, no, not being honest. No, here in Argentina, no. I know what you have been talking in Brazil, in Colares Island. Uh, that was an important case that a lot of people had medical issues after contact with some UFOs. They were getting uh, worse. After that, they had burns in their, and a lot of people, like the majority of people who used to live, there were like tribes living there, and they abandoned their own land after that experience.
Yeah, so it sounds like some of the experiences in Argentina are just following the same path as everywhere else, as opposed to something stands out as being super different. And I think that's something that people need to understand that these encounters, including with beings and objects, are happening all over the world. Um, so thank you so much for helping me to present that information to people to help them to understand that the same thing is happening everywhere. Is there
Mm.
anything else you want people to just understand about what's happening with the UFO phenomenon in Argentina?
Um, I think that this is a worldwide phenomenon, and I believe that sighting has been increasing the last years. I don't know if there is something special is going on, but I think that we have to be open and uh, know that we are dealing with something out of probably our understanding. Uh, I talk to myself studying this and working with these people, and I feel so ignorant sometimes, um, as a species. It's like we're now trying to understand something beyond our comprehension. So we have to be humble and, and serious about this because it's something that deserves that kind of serious treatment, Um, and of course, I'm more than open to get you in touch because I'm not probably the best person to talk about this in Argentina. I work with them, those researchers, and probably. they are going to talk or share some experience that I told them that we are trying to get in touch with you, and they are pretty interesting to try to make connections. You know what you are working there and what they are doing here. So I
Yep.
think that this kind of uh, relationship is better for everyone. You know, to understand and learn how they deal probably different in different part of the world from the same kind of phenomenon. You know.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm hoping we'll uncover, because it is impacting the entire globe. And of
Mhm.
course, I'm hoping that every country will, you know, take care of the people after they have these encounters, um, and provide support. You know, I'm hoping that every country is going to prepare to do that. If you ever find a link for support directly in Argentina, please let me know because I do have a place on the
Oh,
UFO connector that includes information about Argentina. And thank you again so much for coming and talking
thank
to
you.
me and representing your entire country. And
Thank you.
before Maximo came on, I said, "No pressure, you're just representing Argentina." Yes. Do you have any final things that you would like to say to people before we, say goodbye today?
Uh, I just want to thank you this opportunity. For anyone who had experience uh, on their own or someone relating to them, be open and helpful and try to trust, uh, although they don't, you know what I mean? It's like trust these people because some of them they are dealing with something that they don't know how or who talk with. So it is important to have someone to be uh, to feel comfortable to talk about this because it's uh, to have a sighting. I don't know what represents to have any kind of contact, direct contact with something like this, but probably change the way you see the world, so or life or whatever, you know. So it's good to talk with other people about this.
Yes. Yes, it is, and that seems to be something people are saying to me from every country so far. So I hope someone is listening, the people who have the opportunity to help people and to add value to their therapeutic or medical experience, as opposed to some people who have re-traumatized their clients by not believing them. Let's do that. Let's do the thing where we support people, guys. So thank you so much, Maximo. Please let people know where they can find you.
uh, they can find me in social media in Instagram as Maximo Veron is Veron. Maximo is like Maxim with an O at the end. Yeah, probably there. And after that, you can see the those articles we're doing with the Roswell Daily Record, and probably we are going to start working on these cases to be open to the public. So you can everywhere in the U.S. particularly know a lot of cases and sighting that probably not much people know.
I'm so glad you're doing this work, Maximo. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for trying to educate and help people see what's going on. And thank you for revealing some of your own personal stuff today. I appreciate that. It's very brave. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you for everyone who listened. Take care.